Good morning, colleagues. We've got a lot to discuss.
Whereas Keir Starmer, as Britain spirals into crisis hour and NHS in shambles, farmers abandoned, Whitehall in open rebellion, our Prime Minister is missing in action. Is he hiding out of shame, or is he simply clueless about the catastrophe unfolding on his watch? Today, we expose the shocking truth about Starmer's vanishing act, the policies tearing this country apart, and the devastating consequences for millions of British citizens. Stay with us, because what we've uncovered will leave you speechless.
That we're going to do things differently. We're going to tell the truth, even when they are hard truths.
It started with a bombshell. Starmer's government announced the abolition of NHS England, a move that blindsided even his closest allies. Overnight, 8,000 skilled administrators, the backbone of our healthcare system, were left facing unemployment. No consultation, no transition plan, just Starmer playing reckless political chess with our nation's health. And let's be clear, this isn't about cutting bureaucracy. The Department of Health is now expected to absorb NHS England's responsibilities, but Starmer has given zero details on how this will work. How will services be coordinated? Who will handle multi-billion-pound budgets? No one knows. But one thing is certain, our already overstretched NHS is now on the brink of collapse.
I don't see why decisions about £200 billion of taxpayer money on something as fundamental to our security as the NHS should be taken by an arm's-length body, NHS England. And I can't, in all honesty, explain to the British people why they should spend their money on 2 layers of bureaucracy. That money could and should be spent on nurses, doctors, operation, GP appointments. So today I can announce we're going to cut bureaucracy across the state, focus government on the priorities of working people, shift money to the front line. So I'm bringing management of the NHS back into democratic control by abolishing the arm's-length body NHS England. That will put the NHS back at the heart of government where it belongs, freeing it to focus on patients, less bureaucracy, with more money for nurses, an NHS refocused on cutting waiting times at your hospital. Now, tough choices won't just stop there. In this era, they will keep on coming. Our task is clear: national security, national renewal, driving change forward with a plan for change, focused on the interests of working people, securing our future together. Thank you very much indeed for listening to me. Thank you for being here.
The NHS crisis. 1. It's on record that 7.6 million patients on waiting lists. 2. Worst staffing shortages in NHS history. 3. 8,000 job losses overnight. 3. No transition plan from Starmer's government. And it gets worse. Just days before this bombshell, top NHS officials mysteriously resigned. Amanda Pritchard, the head of NHS England, quit in February. Then, Sir Stephen Powis, the medical director, followed suit. What did they know that the rest of us didn't? Were they fleeing a sinking ship before Starmer pulled the plug? They found out about the NHS abolishment through the news. It's reckless move, they said. The NHS is already struggling, and now they're making it even worse. Starmer keeps repeating the same tired promise: all savings will go to frontline care. But how? Where is the plan? Because experts warn this will create more chaos, not less. More delays, more inefficiencies, more lives at risk. As if dismantling the NHS wasn't enough, Starmer's government has now betrayed British farmers, slashing vital financial support without warning. The sustainable farming incentive gone overnight. A lifeline that thousands of farmers were relying on to survive in an already struggling industry ripped away with no explanation. Sustainable farming incentive scrapped overnight. British farms face financial ruin, increased reliance on imported food. Farming leaders accuse Starmer of malevolent hatred towards agriculture. Farmers voiced out, "We trusted the government. We built our plans around these promises. Now, we don't know how we'll survive. They've abandoned us." This isn't just an agricultural issue, it's a national security crisis. With farms shutting down, we become dependent on foreign imports. In an era of geopolitical tensions and climate instability, Britain is putting its food security at grave risk. And now, even Whitehall is turning against Starmer. Civil servants, the very people who keep this country running, are in full-scale rebellion. Why? Because Starmer, who promised to cut bureaucracy, has instead created 27 new quangos and government bodies. 27 new government bodies created. Whitehall in chaos over constant restructures. No clear direction from Starmer's leadership. It's the ultimate hypocrisy. He claims he's making government more efficient, yet he's expanding the state at an industrial scale, his newest absurdity. An office for value for money, an entire department dedicated to monitoring spending, while his government has no idea how much regulatory compliance even costs. While his domestic policies crumble, Starmer's diplomatic blunders are making Britain a laughingstock on the world stage. His so-called Ukraine peace plan was publicly mocked by Vladimir Putin's top advisor. It gives us nothing, the Kremlin scoffed. It's meaningless. And now, military experts are warning that Starmer's proposal to send British troops as peacekeepers into Ukraine could actually escalate the war. Starmer's Ukraine peace plan mocked by Russia. Military experts oppose British troop deployment. UK sidelined in major negotiations. Even our allies are raising eyebrows. Starmer wants Britain to be a key diplomatic force, yet all major negotiations are happening without him. He's irrelevant on the global stage, and Putin knows it. That's dangerous for Britain's security.
Putin is trying to delay, saying there must be a painstaking study before a ceasefire can take place. We will now move into an operational phase. Our militaries will meet on Thursday this week here in the United Kingdom to put strong and robust plans in place to swing in behind a peace deal and guarantee Ukraine's future security.
I'm struggling to work out what the coalition of the willing actually does on the ground. As far as I understand it, UK troops couldn't fire at Russian troops. If Russian troops opened fire, we couldn't retaliate, and nor could anybody else, because of what that would provoke. So is it just some kind of slightly more tepid training mission in reality?
Well, the operational meeting is where the discussions are taking place as to what the capabilities will be. I've indicated a willingness for the United Kingdom to play a leading role in this, and indicated that if it's necessary, that will be troops on the ground and planes in the sky. There are different capabilities from different countries, but those are the operational discussions that are going on.
And through it all, where is Keir Starmer? When the NHS collapsed, he was nowhere to be found. When farmers protested, he vanished. When Whitehall fell into chaos, he refused to answer questions. The man who once craved the spotlight has now become a political ghost, disappearing when Britain needs leadership the most. This isn't leadership. This is abandonment during a crisis. And every day he remains silent, more dominoes fall, and Britain sinks deeper into turmoil. It's time for answers. It's time for accountability. And it's time to demand better for Britain.